Hey everybody, what's going on? Juan here, welcome back to the channel. For this video, we are going to be talking about the MediEviL Remake demo, which dropped just after this week's State of Play, and it does seem like in recent years, people have once again fallen in love with some of our favorite games on the PS1. We've had things like the Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy, the Spyro one. We are going to be getting the Final Fantasy VII Remake next year, but with MediEviL, this was announced back in 2017, and it seems like first impressions were, okay, it looks okay, it doesn't look great, but I mean, it's a fresh coat of paint on a game that it wasn't universally loved, but people definitely did enjoy it. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about my experiences with the demo and ultimately attempting to answer the question, should you buy it or am I going to buy it? But before that, please consider hitting that like button and subscribe to the channel. I played the demo to the MediEviL Remake on my PS4 Pro in 1080p, and that's the footage that you're looking at right now. And first impressions is, I think it's good, I think it's serviceable. Much like the Spyro and Crash remakes, it's a fresh coat of paint, but the gameplay, it's largely the same. When you first start the demo, you're greeted to a beautiful opening cinematic that obviously could not be done back on the PlayStation 1. But what I'm about to say may sound like a bad thing, but to me, it's actually a good thing. So many games nowadays try to overcomplicate things by adding so many cinematics, by adding so many explanations, but this game, aside from the crypt where you start, that it tells you, here's how you attack, here's how you defend, here's your shield, here's your daggers, once you open the world up, it's all about having fun. The first thing that's immediately noticeable are the graphics, not just in the cutscenes, but in the actual game. It almost feels like a Pixar movie, and I can continue to make a lot of comparisons to Crash and Spyro, where they're just beautiful to look at. It's like when people used to make all these Unreal Engine evolutions of games. Hey, here's how Ocarina of Time looks on the Unreal Engine, but here, because you have passionate developers working on this, it feels like MediEviL from the PS1 brought to modern day. And that applies not just to the aesthetics of the game, but the actual animations as well. Something that was very important and unique about the original MediEviL on the PS1 was the animations of the main character. He's large, clunky, it looked awkward, and they were able to continue having that on the PS4. In case you haven't played the demo or even the original game, in terms of gameplay mechanics, you have the basic hack and slash attack. That's where you walk up in front of enemies and you beat them down. You can also hold another button for a special attack with your sword. He does an awesome spin around, so imagine Ocarina of Time or other Zelda games, but because he's a skeleton, his entire body actually moves around, and that's awesome. You have the daggers, you can charge those up as well, and then you throw multiple ones. You do have the shield, and in the game you have to find these different items in order to progress in the story. Although don't think about it as a puzzle game, it's pretty clear where things are. Although something I like about it is that in order to get you to fully appreciate the game, if you press one of the shoulder buttons, you go into like a over-the-shoulder camera angle. So think about Resident Evil 4. I know it's a weird comparison when talking about this game. Now, something we have to talk about is performance. I remember when I first saw gameplay footage of this game, it looked jittery, it looked awkward, and not in a good way. And going into the demo, one of the main reasons that I wanted to experience it was to see if they had addressed this, and it does seem like they did. Now keep in mind, I did play this on a PS4 Pro. I think it was largely 60 frames per second. I'm not a tech wizard, and it did drop frames for a couple of seconds, so I'm concerned about the performance on the regular PS4 because still, at the end of the day, most people don't own a PS4 Pro. Now another important thing, and this goes back to Link's Awakening on the Nintendo Switch, that game was a port of a Game Boy game, or the Game Boy Color version, depending which one you play growing up, but that is a full price $60 game. MediEviL, on the other hand, coming out at the end of October, is going to retail for $30, but it doesn't have the sequel, which also came out on the PS1, which is weird because when you look at something like the Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy, the Spyro one, you're getting 3 games that came out in the same console, so I'm not sure if it's due to licensing or if it's because they want people to double dip and eventually get the other one, but the MediEviL Remake on the PS4 is going to cost $30, which is not bad at all, but when you look at the original one, according to How Long to Beat, it takes approximately 6 to 8 hours to complete the game, so you be the judge. Should you buy the MediEviL Remake on the PS4 coming out at the end of October of this year? If you're nostalgic for the PS1, if you played the original game when it first came out, and you want to relive it on modern day consoles, for $30 at 6 to 8 hours, maybe it is worth a purchase. I don't know if it has any additional features. I would hope so. Not in terms of gameplay mechanics, but some kind of Easter eggs or something that may be hinting that eventually we will get the sequel, because I do think that's a little weird. Now, I'm going to ask myself, Juan, what? Are you going to buy the MediEviL Remake when it comes out at the end of October? Honestly, not right now. And the reason is that if you look at my video game collection, I have so many games to play, and honestly, I would rather dedicate some more time before adding more games to my backlog. The good thing is that this is going to be an exclusive game on the PS4, so it's not like it's going to be out of print, and even if it does go out of print, I can purchase it digitally. It's going to be $30, and I have no doubt that maybe if you wait up until December or something like that, the game's going to drop to maybe 20 bucks. And I think that's going to be a sweet spot for games like this that are not technically new. They're visually appealing, they maintain most, if not all, of the original mechanics, and if you love the PS1, then maybe, just maybe, consider getting the MediEviL Remake for the PS4. And hopefully you enjoyed this video and it gave you some more context. You were able to check out some of the gameplay if you haven't played it for yourself, and you be the judge. Let me know in the comments section if you're contemplating buying this game either at launch or after a price drop. And the other thing, we've had Crash, we've had Spyro, Final Fantasy VII, now MediEviL. Which should be the next game that they remake from the PS1 for the PS4? I'm not talking about a Final Fantasy VIII remaster where they took the original game and just beefed up a couple of things. I'm talking about a full-blown visual makeover. I've seen a lot of people talk about The Legend of Dragoon, one of my friend's favorite games of all time. I played it just a little bit, but watching another JRPG that's not made by a Square, things like that, I think that would be pretty cool. But if you enjoyed this video and you want to support the channel, the easiest way to do so is by hitting that subscribe button, give me a thumbs up, and hit on that notifications bell so that way you're notified of not just the latest videos, but I do have some casual streams happening, and you can check those out as well. I have videos about Xbox Game Pass, the Nintendo Wii U, and most recently, I talked about my favorite games on the PlayStation 3. So up until next time, thank you for watching and supporting, and take care, everybody.